the level to go from fossil fuels, as you call them, into the age of high energy is been realized. These are all things that are done behind the scenes. Your governments have what do you call that? Backlogged? No. Backfired? Back-engineered. They have back-engineered ET crafts and things of this nature. The hidden technology is using the energy that is all around you. It is tapping into what some call the zero-point energy. The energy that is in the ether, the energy is everywhere. They have tapped into it, but they are not completely successful, because in order to be completely successful with it and to fuel a world and to make a world thrive, there must be an awareness of consciousness. So the world that will unfold from this time, one of the probable worlds that we are helping to seed and you are participating in, is a world where, to be sustainable, the people who live in it will have a certain level of consciousness, and they will be aware and respectful, at the minimum, of Earth and her resources. At the highest level, they will speak with those resources, mind to mind. And those resources will advise them how to be used. Do you understand this? Please also remember, all of you, that the probabilities are splitting off. And we've often mentioned that the main offshoots will be those who go, let's say, more aware of Earth, not just sustainable, but consciously aware. It's a whole level, and you would be timeline opened as well. You would be aware of your ancestors and other lines of time. It's a whole huge leap in consciousness, and it chooses nature, but it does not live in trees. Do you understand? There is you can be modern, but you will find ways that are simpler, that give you more time. And you won't have to rush faster and faster and thinking that a GDP or GPD, whatever it is the thing that everyone must get, that it must be more. You will find that you will build things, and they will be beautiful, and there will be consciousness, and then you can do other things with the mind. You will find you will journey with the mind. So, and the other probability that will branch off, of course, is those who will follow the technological fork. And that will branch. And this is the year, the next 2 years, where you will see the extremes in technology. And people will be frightened of what is out there. Today, you have some awareness of the surveillance, but you're all naive about how you are surveilled. And many of you don't care, but why has this happened on your world that you are being spied upon? Think about it. In your personal lives. There's eyes in all of your computers if you are Wi-Fi'd or Wi-Fi'd. You have eyes in your televisions. You have eyes everywhere watching you, and your cell phones listening to you. It's possible. Everything is recorded. Everything is monitored. So we ask you, if you were not living in these times and you were looking at them or studying them, as we are, what would you think? You would think that all the people are in prison. Do you understand this? You've heard of the people who they let them out of prison, but they wear one of those things on their ankle and they're monitored. You're all monitored. And so then the bigger question is not to get angry at being monitored. It's like, number one, you're creators of reality. Why did the mass consciousness create being monitored to such an extent? Must be they want to monitor us because they're afraid there's something going on. They want to watch us. Get real. Do you understand? And why would they want to watch you? Because obviously you're going to flower. It's been known forever that this is a time of flowering. So be a good flower. Enjoy it. Fertilize yourself. Pollinate. Flowers have sex. They have fun. They have seasons. Go for it. All right, who else has a question, please?
Doug?
Who is it?
Doug?
Doug, loud and clear, please.
How do you suggest we live without fear?
That is a very good question, Doug. In your world today, you are bombarded with fear in every every corner you turn to. There is fear sold everywhere. Every newspaper, everything, even the sweetest ones, they all sort of warn you. They don't say, well, you know, these people created this. They say, oh, these poor victims here and here and here, and you think, oh, this could happen to me. So the media is setting the stage. And number two, each of you has fears within you because you live again and again and again. And part of the initiation, the acceleration of consciousness, the nanosecond, is all about healing these fears that have been built up in your soul spirit, which would live many incarnations, and the genetic line of your body, your family. So the more you raise your consciousness, you will be healing and maturing through and healing the fears that your mother and father and grandparents carried. You have to overcome those and recognize those were their fears. You have more knowledge now. You don't have to carry these random medieval fears. Overcoming fear is a decision, basically. You overcome your fears when you recognize that, hey, I'm afraid of this. When you really admit, hey, this scares me. And then you say, all right, I have to. It's best for me to meet this fear. And it depends. If that fear is jumping out of an airplane, maybe it's not best to meet it. Do you understand? Maybe it's best to just say, all right, how about if I just go for... In other words, be reasonable. This is not an excuse to be crazy. This is more about fear of... We'll tell you what everyone's fear is. Everyone has a very similar fear. That they're not loved. That they got separated from those they love. It's all about love. It's all about love. But you don't think of it in terms of love. But it's all about these fear. This happened in this lifetime, and I died, and I got sick, and I lost this person. So there's fear of the body that it can't be controlled. Fear of the body that it can be punished. Fear of the body that there's pain, and loss and separation of love. These are the basic fears. If you have a fear of... let's say walking upstairs, leaving the house, falling off a bicycle, these kinds of fears, riding over bridges, these sort of very, let's say, tactile, localized fears, these are often fears that come from another lifetime. When something you carry is very strong and it's inexplicable and has no reason in this lifetime, this is another lifetime carryover, and it's looking to be resolved, and you don't necessarily have to do it, but you say, all right, I'm afraid of this. I don't like to drive over bridges. I panic if I have to drive over a bridge. All right, let's look at this. What is it? Is it the bridge? What's the story behind driving over the bridge? And you look to see, it's not that you don't get focused on the anxiety of driving over the bridge. You accept that that anxiety is ringing your chakras, saying there's an old wound, a trauma along the lines of time, and it needs to be understood and healed from the now. You must understand that part of an initiation of consciousness is to use your healing abilities in the now, which are basically loving, forgiveness, kindness, to go into these wounds along the lines of time, and to remember being persecuted or burned or drowned or falling off a bridge or whatever, or watching someone die under a bridge or having a war by a bridge. Do you understand how one little symbol can have a great story behind it, and the soul wants the story to be known. And sometimes just by you looking to say, well, what's the story? There's a story here. And just knowing the story is part of the healing. It brings the story's validity and trauma into the nanosecond. It shows you how gracious all of you are for what you are carrying and what you are unaware of. Does that help you?
Yes.
Good. Good. It's a big one, you know. But we have often said your power ends where your fear begins. So use common sense with your fear. Some things are worth being afraid of. You don't want to get in a lion's cage. You don't want to follow those dares. And speaking of dares, this energy that will be happening on the area inside there is very daring, it's very reckless. If you have children, any of you, oof.